Hi, I'm Communications Coordinator Josh Shen.
And I'm Web and Multimedia Coordinator Brooks Nickel. And today, we're going to teach you guys the basics of capturing video and editing that video.
This really isn't my wheelhouse, but I enjoy being the center of attention.
That's right, you sure do, Josh. We're going to show you guys Flashback Express. We're going to do a little video editing in Davinci Resolve 18, and we're going to show you guys how to set up an external camera and use it as a webcam so you can improve that video and that audio.
And I guess I'll make some title cards that look like candy corn in a lava lamp.
There you go, candy corn and lava lamp. So let's get ready. Hope you guys are excited. We got a lot to teach you today, so we're going to get started. Okay, we're going to open up Flashback Express. We're going to hit record screen, and then we're going to get this panel here. It's going to give us some options on what we want to record as far as one or more monitors, our audio source, our video source down here, and then we can explore some more settings. There's quite a bit in here to explore, so definitely familiarize yourself with it. It'll give you some options on recording just regions of your screen, the full screen, how you want to go about setting things up. You can kind of do some more tweaking later on if you want to resize the webcam screen, if you want to do away with it completely. You can also choose in this right away if you want to see your webcam and what it's recording while you're recording your screen, or if you just want to see what you're recording on your screen, and then both will be present when you pull it into the built-in kind of playback software. So next we're going to see another full screen recording option. We're just going to click on our primary monitor here, but this is going to make sure you get the screen that you want. We're going to hit record, and then we're going to get a countdown timer here to give us a little bit of time to prepare before things start recording. And then you'll have this little Flashback Express recorder box right here that is going to start recording what you're doing. So now when you finish recording a video in Flashback Express, you hit stop. It's going to pop up a message that's going to ask you what you want to do with it, if you want to save it, if you want to review it, and then if you have the paid version, it'll ask you if you want to do any editing stuff with it. So what we will do is we're just going to review that, and the reason that we review that is because this Flashback Express is going to save in what they call a FBR format, and so there are other programs that will play that, but their proprietary player and editor is going to be what is ultimately they're going to want you to use. This is one I recorded from a little bit earlier. I'm just doing a mic test, but I just wanted to show you guys what Flashback Express's player looks like. Now, with a lot of these free softwares, they're kind of built, they're almost built like an advertisement for the pro version. So you'll see that right here, the things that you're going to be able to do with Flashback's Pro version that you can't do here is edit the frames, add and edit sound, add text and images, add video files to your movie. So basically anything that you can do with the video editing software. So the whole reason that we pull this up is for a couple of reasons. One, we're going to export this video as something that we can use. But two, inside of this, even being the free version, you can come through here and you can actually adjust the size of your recording here. And so if you want to go ahead and move this and make it a little bit smaller, because you know when you're going to move in and do your video editing, you're going to pull in, let's say, a page from your textbook. And you want to make sure that your face isn't covering that while you're on your screen recorder, or anything that you're going to show them while you're recording your screen. If you're just worried about your webcam and you don't want anything on your screen recorder, then you can actually just maximize it. Obviously, the better camera you have, the better it's going to look, but you can't pull that all the way out, so it's just what your webcam is capturing. But once we export this, we're not really going to be able to change the dynamic of those two windows between what our webcam's seeing and what our screen is, what's being captured on our screen. So you want to do that inside of here. Like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time in Flashback Pro. I wish that I had the Pro version. I think that it's probably a pretty good tool if you're doing really basic stuff. One thing that was mentioned is the ability to export directly to YouTube when you go to export your video. And you can do that with Davinci Resolve as well. You just can't I believe, directly upload it. But we're going to show you the best file format for any video that will allow you to place it pretty much anywhere. So after we've decided we've got our video clip here we want to export, we're just going to go up to File. We're going to export this, and this is the format that I'm talking about. You'll see this a lot. You'll usually see it as a .mp4, but that's an MPEG-4, and it's going to be what you'll use for almost anywhere you're going to upload. You know, Facebook, YouTube, any of your major platforms, you're going to see .mp4s be your most common file format for video. So we're going to export that. Let's talk about using an external camera as a webcam. So there are a lot of advantages to using an external camera. Right out of the gate, you're going to get a better image quality. You're going to have something that's portable, something you can take with you. You can capture video elsewhere, bring that video back, cut it into the production that you're working on, and make your content a little more engaging. There are tons of options out there for cameras that can be used. You really just want to look for something that has clean HDMI out, which allows that camera signal to come through without all the menu overlays you would see through your viewfinder or on your back LCD screen. Cameras are going to range from the entry level to prosumer level, all kinds of price points, and it really just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But you don't have to break the bank to get something that's going to give you better image quality, be portable, and really up your game when it comes to creating videos. The next thing you're going to need is some kind of capture card. So what we've got is an Elgato Cam Link. I like these Cam Links a lot. They're really small. They're super easy to use. There's tons of support out there, and it's just going to take an HDMI signal and turn it into USB 3.0. So when you plug that into your computer is going to be able to take the signal from the camera, relay it in there, and then you're going to be able to use that as a webcam. So you're also going to need a adapter of some sort. Most of your cameras will have an HDMI out. However, it's going to be a micro HDMI, a mini HDMI. So you need an adapter that'll allow you to hook that up. And then you're going to need some kind of HDMI cable. This one's massive, but any HDMI cable will do as long as it has a high enough bit rate. You should be good. So we'll show you how to set this up. It's super, super simple. You're going to have one end of your HDMI is going to go into your Cam Link, just like so. The other end is going to go into your adapter. And then you're going to have an HDMI output. Like I said, this one is going to be a micro HDMI. So we're going to plug in there. And then we're going to take this, we're going to plug into our computer, turn our camera on, and then we'll be good to go. We opened Davinci. We're just going to go, we've got some projects already here, but we're going to start a new project down in the bottom. It's going to go ahead and give you a box to title our project in. So we're just going to call this one video editing tutorial. It's not set in stone, so you can change that at any time. And right out of the gate, you're going to get something that might look really overwhelming and confusing, but I promise it's not. You have a basic breakdown of kind of three sections. You've got your media pool up here, and this is where you're going to see most of the clips that you want to bring in. This could be anything from your PDFs of textbook pages to, PNG files, images of graphs that you might have, anything like that, or even the video that you've recorded elsewhere, or the video that we've recorded from Flashback Express. So we're going to get started. We're going to drag some stuff in here in a second. You're also going to get over here a kind of a preview window. So when you're editing on things, you'll be able to see up here what you're looking at. And then down here's what's called a timeline. And this is going to be really similar in any video editing software that you use. But this timeline is going to be where you will work on everything, so to speak. So we'll go ahead and we will bring in some media. You can go in here to File, and you can go to Import. And you can go to Media. And then I've already got a folder built out with this stuff on here on our desktop. So we'll go in here and we're going to pull in the video that Josh and I had recorded, our intro. We're going to drop that in our media. Oh, sorry. We're going to hit open. Let's change that. Okay, and now we've got this video in here, but we do not want to stop there. We're going to pull some more in real quick. So I'm going to show you just another easier way to do it, I like to do it this way. We'll go ahead and pull this second video that we showed you guys about hooking up a camera, and we can just drag and drop over as well and copy that right there. We don't have to go up through our files and all that. And then we'll go ahead and pull in one more video that we recorded just a little bit ago, which was us talking about Flashback Express. Okay, so we've got some stuff to work with. We definitely want to have our intro first. So we're going to pull our intro down to our timeline. You'll see at the very bottom down here, you've got your media window, and these are going to change the layout and the views that you see. The one that I would recommend starting out that everybody just stays on is right here, and this is just going to be your editing tab. And so that's going to pull all of your stuff into this timeline down here. It's going to show you the audio clip and the video clip right here. And then as we add stuff in, we can put it behind this stuff. We can put it over it. We could do all kinds of things. Really easy keyboard shortcut you might want to remember is just to hold down Alt. And you can actually just Alt and scroll on your mouse wheel, or you can hit Control minus and plus. And that's all that's doing is it's changing basically what we're seeing, how far out we're seeing. So this video may be a minute long, and we can go all the way in here and we can get down to the nitty gritty, and we can play it. And when we're zoomed in, you'll see how fast it's going, right? So it's just going by frames, and it's changing how many frames we're seeing. And so if we want to back it out so that we can pull more media in, I mean, we can go all the way down to, you'll see now, we're getting a much larger overview of it. So when we pull this out, we want to add our flashback video next. So we're going to drop our Flashback Express recording in here. And you can see we've got what we recorded earlier. And that is really loud. So we're going to go ahead and pull that down. So if you're going to edit on things, you're probably going to want to be at a little bit further out view when you're pulling that media in. And then you probably want to get in a little bit closer as you're trying to edit. So some basic sound stuff you can do in here. I noticed right off the bat that this is really loud, so we can click on this white line that you'll see that runs all the way through, and you can just pull your audio down. You can take it all the way out, you can delete it, but we're just going to pull it down until we find something that's a little more suitable. We're going to back out a little bit. So we've got that in there. We're going to save you the pain of watching this multiple times, but we know what our intro's like. Fades up, and you've got Josh and myself being silly, and then we want to say, okay, we've already told you at the end of the, not already pre-edited this and cut it, but we've told you at the end of this one what we're going to do. And let's say we wanted to, instead of just rolling straight into this, we wanted to give a little bit of a visual cue on what's coming next, right? So we can pull in some still images. You can create stuff maybe in Adobe Illustrator if we get that program on campus, or Canva is a free software that a lot of people use the free version of. They have a paid version as well. So we can create some stuff, and Josh has created some awesome tile cards for us already that we're going to pull in from a presentation. So we know that, like we talked about earlier, full HD, which is what we want the end goal of our video to be, is going to be 1920 by 1080. And so Josh has created these images to fit that format already. But I'll show you something that you can do if you don't have that image format size. It will change, maybe how it looks as far as quality goes, but there's definitely options for that. But if you can get some type of program to create these in 1920 by 1080, that's awesome. Obviously, if you're pulling in a PDF from a textbook page, it may not do that, but we can get a little more targeted with it. So we're talking about Flashback Express. We built a intro to Flashback Express card here, so we're going to pull it into our media. And then we've got this awesome little introduction to Flashback Express still we have. We can pull it down here to our timeline. We can zoom in a little bit here, and you can see it dropped it right above these. So as you add different videos in, you can change where those are going to sit. So right now we've got kind of two layers inside of here, and we've got our intro video, we've got our title card for the next spot, and then we've got our video that we just recorded about how to use Flashback Express. So we're going to play just the very end of this, and we're going to see what might feel natural to us. Okay, so that's a pretty long hold, but for the sake of right now, we'll leave it. We can pull this over so that we don't have anything after that and we can go straight into our next video. And you'll see that with that, instead of just having a clip that goes into another clip, we hit finish, we can fade out, we can bring this up, and then we'll go into our Flashback Express tutorial. So it makes things a little bit nicer, it gives you a visual cue. If you're wanting to add something like, let's say instead of coming straight into that, we want it to fade up. When you click on this is going to be selecting your clip, what you're working with. You'll see that kind of cursor changes. You can actually just select the edge of it as well. And this is going to be any transitions that you want to bring in there. You can go right up here, you'll see effects, and you guys can play around with this. There's tons of stuff in here that you can do. Some stuff that might not be useful for what you're wanting to accomplish, and some stuff that you might be like, oh, that's exactly what I want to do. So we're just going to do a crossfade. And we're going to, oh, sorry, that's for our audio. We're going to do a cross dissolve. So when we bring a cross dissolve in, we'll zoom in. It's going to add a little box over this right here. Maybe. So you can also select that like we were showing you earlier with that little tool. Hit on your right click, and it'll give you some just generally used ones. You can kind of customize what shows up there as well. 14 frames is pretty good on the cross dissolve, so we'll add that. It gives us this little window here. If we decide that that's a little too fast for us, so we're going to go in and we're going to pull this out a little bit further. We can just extend it. So now when we come in, we can fade up like that. We can do the same thing over here. We can add another 14 seconds. I didn't like that. We can pull it out even further. And now instead of that just going straight to title card, we've got to fade into it and kind of a fade out as well. Okay, cool. So the next thing we want to do is, as beautiful as our voices are, it's always great to have something kind of in the background, right? So we want to talk about adding some ambient music. Now, I believe the links that Josh is going to provide were for what did we decide? SoundCloud and Bandcamp, SoundCloud. A lot of artists will put music on there that you can download and you can use for free. Most of what is out there as far as royalty-free music goes is going to require a subscription of some sorts. But just if you're doing a lot of videos, or if you just want access to that, most of them are not steep subscriptions. You know, they're going to be around probably at the most $10 a month for. I think Artlist is one I get advertised all the time on my YouTube, and it's just going to give you access to music that you can use. So if you put a video on Facebook, it's not going to get taken down from, a strike against using somebody else's content without having the license for it. So that being said, we have Adobe stock is what we use, and that's just part of their Creative Cloud. Well, it's actually an extra subscription, and we've pulled a couple of audio bites from that we're going to use for the sake of editing today. So let me pull up this desktop folder again. We've got a couple of audio tracks in here that we're going to bring in, and we're going to just drop this one right under the audio of Josh and I talking, and you'll see it'll also go under the audio that I've captured of myself using Flashback Express just a little bit earlier, and it's going to give us just a music track. Before we get started, I'm going to pull it way down because it's going to be super loud. Okay, as funny as that is, that's not the one I want. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of that. You can just select it and you can delete it. I will say this while I brought that up. Be careful because you may have something that's on here, and usually your video and your audio clips are going to be pretty locked together. So if you're going and deleting some audio and there's video attached to it you still want, but you don't want the audio, you want to make sure and come over here to your panel and lock whatever it is that you don't want deleted. So right now we have this track locked, we have the video and the track selected. If I hit backspace, it's just going to delete the video, and it's not going to delete the audio as well. So just a little tool to keep in mind that anytime that you have a recording, if you're not recording audio on a completely separate device, then it's usually going to be paired with that. You can go into your settings and you can unpair that a lot of times too, but just shouldn't have to worry about it at all. Just something you can keep in mind is just that you do need to lock those tracks if you're trying to kind of edit on that. But we're going to put the right music in this time, and we're just going to drop it right under there. Pull the audio down just a little bit so it doesn't blow our eardrums out. Same one again. No, all right, here we go. All right, remember, you can grab this bar that runs all the way across. You can pull it down. You can also click up here. This is for your video as well. Right where it says inspector, this really should be one of the only tools up here you really need. You'll click on that. It's going to move us over a little bit, and it's going to show what we have selected. But right over here, it's going to give us some tools that we can use. Audio, if we want to click on the actual video file, we can click on video. And you can do some stuff like that. Like I said earlier, if you don't have your images in the exact perfect sizing you want, you can select on those, and you can come in here to video, and you can actually zoom those up, make them larger. You can change the position of where they might be on the screen. So there's a lot of tools over here on this inspector that are going to be super useful. But right now we're going to select that music track, and we're just going to drop the volume a bit. So anytime you're working on putting background audio in, the biggest thing you want to do is make sure that the focus is still going to be on the audio that you want, which is going to be your speaker. So we could probably come up with it a little bit, but you'll kind of get the idea. You don't want the music to be overpowering. You just kind of want it to be there so that anytime there's pauses, between speaking or anything like that, it's not just crickets. You have some stuff playing. Cool, so we've got our introduction going here. We've got some music behind it. We've got a title card over here that gives us a little bit of a visual cue that we're going to move into Flashback Express. And then let's say we wanted to go ahead and pull this stuff over a little bit. We can kind of back out and you can select everything. So let's say you've edited all this and you don't want anything to move, but you're like, oh, I really wanted to add something before that. You can just select it all and just move it all down. So I left our audio track there because we are going to sync it up a little bit better, and we're going to drop something in the front of this right here. We're going to pull up our folder that we have our stuff kind of pre-downloaded in again, and we've saved the logo. This is one that you guys can get access to on the M drive, I believe, in the folder that Josh has made accessible to everybody. It's going to be transparent already, which means that when we pull this in, all we're going to see is the logo. We're not going to have any big blocky white around it or anything like that. And we're going to drop that straight over here in our media selector. And then when we pull this down and drop it in, you'll see that we just have the logo. So we want the Seminole State logo to play before our intro video comes up. So we'll have a little bit of audio, and then we'll have the logo come up, and we probably don't want to hold a whole long time on it, but we do want it to fade in as well. So we can go ahead and add our 14 frames again on each side. Remember, you just want to get your cursor where it is kind of selecting the edge of it, right click. We're going to go ahead and say that's going to come up too quick, so we just want to drag it over a little bit. And remember, I told you the shortcut of holding down Alt on your keyboard and just wheeling your mouse. Here's where it comes into play super easy, or where it helps you quite a bit is when you're going through and you're trying to change little stuff like that, because it's hard to select that little fade unless we get in closer. But now that we're in there, we can select it. Now that we can have it pulled out, we can kind of scroll back out and see our whole project. So got a little bit of music to place. We fade the logo up. And we're going to fade our logo out. And then we probably want about right there, feels natural for our intro video to come up. So we'll back it out. We'll select everything. We're going to get a little bit closer so we can see what we're doing. We're just going to move it in right there. So now our logo is going to come in and out. All right, so we've got some audio behind that. We've got our little title card here that's going to show us that we're going to lead into our next part, which is going to be our introduction to Flashback Express. We brought another little audio clip in because while we have this visual cue here to tell us we're going in, maybe somebody's not looking at the screen. So maybe we want to give them an audio cue as well. And that's where we are going to come down here. We're going to pull our audio back a little bit. And we're going to have that audio end right where our screen, or right where our introduction to Flashback Express image pops up. All right, so one thing you can kind of utilize is these are going to be your stop, start, play buttons. I've been using the space bar because that's just kind of an auto play and stop. But if you want to pull this up right to the end of that frame, maybe you want to go back just a touch. This is going to take you back to the very beginning of that clip. This will take you to the very end. So we know that's where that clip ends, and we know that's where our next clip is going to fade up if we have it positioned properly. So we're going to pull our audio back to there, and then we pulled in another super loud audio track we pulled in, and we're going to go ahead and take the volume down on that so it doesn't kill our ears. But we want to have a little bit of different audio when this still comes up, just to kind of change the flow. So we've got this nice chill music. All right, so I don't want that last part there, so I'm going to pull everything back just a touch. Make this a little bit shorter. Okay, so now we want to go right back into our audio that we were using for the video. Before we get to that still, we can select that. We can right click and we can go up here and we can copy, come over here and click off of it and back to our timeline, and we can paste that. And then we'll have something that is going to go a little bit more like this. So we'll go right back into our music again. So we've got something that's going to give us a video cue, something visual that we can see that changes, something that's auditory that'll pull our attention back to the screen. And we've done it, hasn't really been a whole lot of work to pull that stuff in and kind of cut it together. What's cool about it is that, let's say we're getting back into the Flashback Express stuff here, where we're behind just a screen, and we've also got something that we went and recorded ourselves. So again, whatever your area is that you are wanting to use this, you can think about what you might plug into that. If it's teaching, if it's, you guys have seen some of the student support services videos that they've done, even if it's just knowing how to cut that stuff together and the tools that you can use to improve the video quality, the audio quality that you're getting on that. You have something here free that you can use to make those improvements. All right, so then we're going to roll right into Flashback Express and the little demo that we did earlier. So right off the bat, I can tell you that I don't like the way it starts. Let's say we want, that's as much as we've got. So let's say we want to find a better place to start on that video. We can listen to this over and over again and find the best place to start. But basically what you can do is you can just go over here and you can pull, let's say we found our perfect spot right here. We want to pull back to that. We can just pull over, and now that's where our video is going to start instead of at the beginning. Now, another thing you can also do is you can come right over here and you can grab this little tool, which is called Blade Edit Mode. That's going to change your cursor. So now instead of having something that you can click, point, drag, you're going to have something that's going to give you a line. You'll see that red line, and that's going to basically just cut it. Switch back to our cursor, and we've cut this video out. So maybe we want to use that bit later. Maybe we just want to delete it completely. We can do that. But basically that tool is going to allow you to cut video up that you have in there, and just parcel it around to get really whatever you want out of that clip. Cut your intros out if you have a lot of dead space before you started saying anything. Let me go back here. Make sure after you've used your cut tool and you've gone through and said you chop this up, make sure that if you're wanting to move something around, just remember you're gonna have to go back and you're gonna have to grab your selection tool again, or you're just gonna keep cutting stuff up. So great tool to remember too. Keyboard shortcut, Control and Z in most of your editing programs is gonna undo what you've done, and it's the same for all programs, even I think Microsoft Word and all that. Control Z is going to be a keyboard shortcut to just undo. So if you've done something, you've messed up and you don't know what you've done, you can always just hit Control Z until it gets back to something that you recognize or something that you are more comfortable with. So we're going to take the audio down a little bit on this, and blow our eardrums out. And again, we're just going to pull this down, or we can go up here and change our volume. So let's pretend that this video is done, we're happy with it, and we're ready to put it out there. So you would think you'd go to File and Export like on most softwares, but Davinci has a really cool feature built in that makes it quite a bit easier. There's a little rocket ship down here. So remember, we've been working predominantly in this space, which is their editing. And then let's say we want to go over and we're ready to export. It's called Deliver. We're just going to click on the rocket ship. And it's got all this confusing jargon up here, but like we said, what's great about Flashback Express is your ability to export that directly to YouTube. Same thing, they've made it very easy. You can go right here to YouTube, and we can click YouTube 1080, and it's going to give us all the settings we need for YouTube. The frame rate on this is 59.94. It's going to match what's coming in. So, and it's going to give you the same thing, all of your audio stuff. You can actually click upload directly to YouTube, and you can fill that information in there as well. If you have this link to your YouTube account, we're just going to export ourselves right now. We're just going to say basics of video editing.
Okay, so I'm going to pause for a second. While I was editing this video together, I realized that there was a question Scarlett had asked about exporting chapters like you would see on YouTube, where you can select through and pick directly what content you want, and you don't have to watch the whole video. We talked about doing that inside of YouTube predominantly, but I did discover when you go to export in Davinci, if you're using that export to YouTube option and you have your YouTube account linked to Davinci, you actually can set markers throughout your timeline, and you can export those markers as chapters. So definitely is possible inside of Davinci, and just wanted to take a moment, pause, and let you guys know that is something you can utilize.
We can browse for a location to export that to. This is going to be our unfinished one, so we're just going to put that in our downloads for the moment. We're going to save that, and then we're going to come down and we're going to hit add to render queue. That's going to put it right up here. And let's say you're exporting multiple videos. That's all this step is for, is that it's going to give you all of them right here. Most of us are only ever going to be exporting one, and then we'll just hit render all, and it's going to do its job, which is it's just going to go through. It's going to make sure that everything is good. There's no errors, there's no issues, and it's going to take all of this information that we've pulled in. It's going to take our PNGs. It's going to take our wave format audio, if we have vector files or any crazy stuff in there, and whatever we've told it to export that as, which YouTube will automatically, on this YouTube section, it's going to do it H.264, which is, you'll see the video codec, and right above it you'll see, I'm sorry, I'm pointing at my screen. Right above that you'll see MP4. And so that's that format we were talking about. Now you can go through here and you can get a little more in depth with what you want to do if you're wanting to export. If you need to say export a QuickTime video or a certain file format, you can tell it to export really to whatever you want it to export to. But like I said, you should always be good using an MP4 unless for some reason there's just some restrictions that are put in place by whoever is asking for the video. But for the sake of what we're doing, it's going to go right in there as an MP4. This is going to take a minute to export, but when it's done, it's going to put it in our downloads, and we'll have a video right here that just says .mp4 that we can upload to YouTube. We can use for Brightspace, whatever we want to do with that video. As I said, there is tons and tons and tons you can do inside of Davinci Resolve. There's tons that you can do that I haven't even looked at inside of Flashback Express, but hopefully this is giving you a little bit of an understanding of just some of the basics. The big takeaway, I think, for most of your video editing software is that YouTube is a huge resource. If you have something that's accessible to you, that you want to learn, you can learn from somebody on YouTube, or you can ask me. If I'm familiar with it, I'll be more than happy to help out. But they're all very, very similar. They're all going to be your basic drag and drop with some of the same tools that are going to be available, and that's even down to, I think, Windows Movie Maker, which is a really, really basic, video editing software.